Hello and welcome back to Pandemic Playground with Dave. Today we're going to continue our surviving Pertam, the wastelands, and we're going to start building our home. But first, I think I need to fix this welding crane up a little bit. Alright, so I think today I'm probably going to focus on building the house and the innards first and then the outers. Because if I build the wall, it's going to be hard to see everything. So I think I do need to fix up this welding crane a little bit. I probably want to balance it out a little bit better. Maybe actually put the containers or cargo in the rear end of it. And I think I need to extend the base a little bit more. And definitely need to extend that welding arm up there, because this is the lowest and go. Especially with the current wheel setup. So if I were to go inside of this here and lower my wheels all the way, let's just say for an example, then I get really close to the ground, and I mean it kind of works out here because then I can weld up things this way. But we're all the way to the ground, which actually might not be a bad thing because we're pretty stationary without having to take out that a bit of a locking hinge system over there. I'm not sure if things are gonna break by leaving things like this. Possible, but not 100% sure. But I mean, it does kind of work out this way in some sense. But I think it would be better if I increase the welding arm a little bit more. When I say a little bit more, not by too much, so at least I could stretch out and go diagonally, and then if I need to, just bring it back up just a tad like that. So I think let's just work on that first. So let's bring this down this way. And in order to do that, I definitely have to break it up a little bit from there. So I have to get rid of this. Let's just see. Let's just hope there's nothing in there first. Can I even get into it? Nope. So I'll just break it, and probably some steel blocks. Oop. That almost killed me. That wasn't good. A bit of a trap system there. Okay, we'll just, kind of grab all that back. That was funny, actually. That was a very close call, actually. So we definitely don't need this. This was just a little bit of a design and a little bit of protection, but I don't think I need it. It's been doing okay without this, because the thing I think, if I were to break something, it would be the welder first before this gets broken up a little bit. So now I think I want to add, maybe should I add 2 more? If we add 2 more, it would look like that. And we're pretty close to the ground. That's also because the wheelbase is the wheel is all the way height offset is like super low too. So that's the main thing. Alright, so if I did that, okay, so if I increase my wheels back to a fair bit of a normalcy, something like that maybe, which is just high enough but not too high kind of situation, and yeah, that might actually work. I do have to lift up ever so slightly, like so, and I think I should be able to put in the welder from there. Yep, I think I have the height for it. I should be tall enough, hopefully. If not, then we got some issues. Not like I can grow anymore, so that's a thing. Alright, so now we have, there we go, and we can potentially actually turn this around and put additional welders. They could weld up a lot faster. Should I do that? I don't know. And honestly, this whole thing here, this diagonal, should probably be a piston instead. But I left it as that. As this thing here. But I mean, it gives it some kind of control here. So I think I could, yeah, if I tilt it down all the way, it's going to hit the floor. Yeah, it hits the floor, so that's not good. But at least now we have a decent extension here, where we can go forward up a little bit more and start welding up the rest. So that's what I really wanted. having this extra length would be a lot better. So and if I want to get the ones closer to me, I could just bring it back up to make it taller up that way, and I could bring this all the way down vertical and some. It looks like. I don't know why. Oh, you know what? That's actually pretty interesting. Those blocks that I had there was blocking the hinge from doing that previously. So then it couldn't curl up all the way. So now I have the opportunity to kind of curl it up all the way. So that kind of worked out even better than I thought. And of course that was my fault because I didn't realize that I did kind of hindered it from being able to curl in. So when I curl in, now I can take care of those blocks so much better. And this is seemingly not too bad. And I can do a lot more surface space like this. Definitely can weld up all this a little bit easier because I have so much more space to work with. And that was actually a good idea to extend it because also helped me get rid of what was hindering it from actually turning inwards. So now as you see here, so much better. Of course, there's still a little bit of limitations, but I mean, it's not terrible. That's the lowest you can go right now, but I will do pretty far away. So there you go. That wasn't too bad. And we could bring this up now. So what's cool about this is I can bring this guy pretty much all the way down like so, and then bring it upwards. So still kind of have some kind of balance there, and I'm about to flip the whole thing over, so we gotta be careful with that. And since it seems like it's a little back heavy also based on what I've done with it, I definitely need to change that a bit. So I should add another base here, I think, base of wheels I should say, towards the back here. So then that way it can kind of carry this load, which is kind of heavy in some ways. The front, we can add another front also. Is it necessary? Probably not. I would hope not. And I should really try my best to actually put on a piston locking system instead of these hinges. I mean, I'm sure we can lock on to it. Let's just do a quick test actually. So the hinge in the back, it should be able to lock in and not wiggle too much with shared inertia. That is something I didn't try before, and yet that was something pointed out in the comment section, so thanks for pointing that out. I always forget about the hinges and the shared inertia. And generally I use pistons and shared inertia, but I don't do it with rotors and hinges a lot. I don't know why. It's just the way I play this game sometimes. I just forget about certain things. So let's just try that right now. So we're gonna bring this guy down and just test it out. I mean, we're all about experimenting at times, so why not try and give this a shot and see how that's gonna work. So we'll bring this guy down, hopefully not too fast. It might pop it up a little bit. It's okay. It's okay. We'll wait for it to go, and I should really put timing blocks for this, but I think I might just get rid of this system as a whole. Not a big fan of it, to be honest. I like it because it's compact. It stores it pretty cool, and it works in some ways, in some fashion, but not too well. So if we have that here, and we look for the hinges, I have no idea which is which. I think it was these guys here. And if we do shared inertia, there we go, that's shared inertia. I think we are completely locked in, and it doesn't wiggle. It's still kind of wiggles, but that's not the best thing in the world. I hope these are the right hinges. It should be, to be honest. So this one should be this one here. It's R3, 2, and 1. So I mean, I can always double check by going into this toolbar. Yeah, R1, 2, and 3. So I did name it that, and it doesn't necessarily lock with the shared inertia. So what if we did like a hinge lock with the shared inertia and go to the hinge, go to crane system and start moving around a lot more. The left and right works fine. It's not doing anything, which of course because hinges go up and down in this setting. So if you did this, oh, I was just about to break it. So we hinge locked it, sheared inertiaed it. It works a little better when you hinge lock it with the sheared inertia. So that's not too bad. Okay, so that's definitely not too bad actually. Not bad at all. Because I could turn it, and I probably could set this thing a little faster. I'm afraid I'm gonna hit something soon, which it's likely because it's me. But so far so good. And yeah, okay, there you go. So I gotta do hinge lock with them. So do I have these grouped? I don't know. Let's just do rear hinges or gear hinges. Gear hinges. Let's just do that. Gear hinges, right? So here, at least we can lock it when we need to. So we can just put it here and do hinge lock. There. The problem with this, I think, is if I unlock it with shared inertia, it's not going to go anywhere. So that might be the case. Actually, that's not true because I had locked right there. So I can keep shared inertia on, so it does that. I love how that gear leaves a little bit of a print there. And then we can still store it perfectly fine. Yeah, so this kind of works out. So I can keep this instead of turning this into the gear. But the problem is with the shared inertia, it looks like I try to bring the rear one in, and it's, of course, pulling it back in for some reason. Alright, there you go. So that's one. Okay, so I got a little confused. So that's one, middle's two, and then one that's touching the rover's three. So now, with that said, I can bring this in and make it compact. There you go. Okay, so that kind of works out. So I kind of have an idea, but it's probably gonna look a little odd and kind of ugly in some ways, but it's okay. It's just a random design I'm thinking of, and that didn't even get flushed in all the way, which is fine. I'm thinking of putting maybe a block here, and extend it out a little bit, so I can put the wheels. But actually, no, I can't do that. I can't do that because of this. Shoot. Yeah, I'm just gonna get rid of this. I would prefer to use a different system. I mean, it works out, and it's not too bad, but I would prefer to use a different system, which is the piston system instead. Looks like I'm full of stuff, so I can extend it out this way, and I think I want to extend it out a little bit further than what I've done previously, which is about 2 blocks. Actually, no, I could do 2 blocks, right? What is it? 2 blocks? 1, 2. Yep, it's 2 blocks difference. So 1, 2, and we add one here, basically. I think that will work out. Looks like we have too much inventory, so we can stick it on there for now. Then we have to run back and forth too much. And with the extension of the base of the rover, I think we should be okay in terms of putting a piston system down without it really blocking anything. Maybe. I could be wrong, but we'll see. And too bad. Actually, I can possibly weld it up with this welding crane. Its own base and body. Not really, I don't think so. But yeah. So this is the leg side, or the back side. We should put the wheels here, I would think. So we put the left wheel on this side, right? Yep. We'll put it here. And we'll put the right wheel on this side. So then we have a 4-wheel system, which is pretty much exactly how I had it in the experimental video of making my wrecking ball, which is a similar system to this. The wheels are quite close together, unfortunately, so maybe I should spread them out a little bit more and a little bit better, but for whatever reasons, I feel like just leaving it as is. And if I look at this correctly, I think I could put the piston system here, right? No, it's too... See, that doesn't work out because it's too far. I mean, I could easily just put put a hinge system like I did before, and just use one hinge instead of the multiple hinges, and it'll be very similar to that guy instead. Which, I mean, I'm kind of inclined to think I should just do that instead, which is a lot better. And in order to do that, I have to get over there to the inside. So again, no jetpack here, so it's always a struggle to kind of just jump up and down to get to a certain area. I'm glad I put half blocks here so I could walk back here. So kind of pre-plan that out in some ways. And it looks like I chose the wrong color. Actually, the wrong yellow. Here you go. There's the yellow. Okay, so since there's space here, what I can do is actually, yeah, I could do this actually. I could just throw in a block right here, or maybe I'll just throw in a little curved block here, like so. I can put in a hinge system right here, and it's gonna, let's see, I can put the landing gear kind of this way, I believe. I hope so. Ah, shoot, I fell. No, it's fine. I wanted to put it this way, but it looks like it's gonna have some issues. Ugh, damn it, it's gonna have some issues because of the blocks here. So it may have been better if I put half blocks. I mean, it's not too late, so let's just do that. So let's see, can I put the landing gear now? No. Okay, so I gotta get rid of this one too. Now I should be able to put the landing gear, right? No, what is going on? Oh, the top piece. Oh, right. Here's the problem. The top piece, if I did it this way, it's too tall. So that's an issue on its own. Alright, so I went with this system instead. So what this is just a hinge with a small hinge part. So I can connect small pistons, we see two here, and the landing gear. Well, kind of dressed it up with some random blocks. Doesn't look the greatest, but it does what it does. So here is where we're able to bring it down 90 degrees. And then extend the pistons, and it has auto lock, so it's gonna lock in place right there. And I think they haven't tested this out yet, but I think that should lock in place when I go a little crazy with my welding arm. And it's looking pretty good, not too bad. It wobbles just a tiny bit, but it's a lot less wobbly than having those three hinges with the landing gear. So that is not too bad. I think I'll just stick with this system since it kind of works out pretty well. And we can just bring that back in and put it away this way. Probably not the prettiest thing in the world, but and it adds a bit of a honest to it, I guess you can say. I'm not gonna say what it looks like, but it's kind of weird. And I made the wheel system with half blocks on these on the base, which is again not the smartest idea, but it might work out decently. But I do need to put these guys together, and I do need to raise up the whole entire system so I can add the wheels on here. And actually, I just do that with this hinge. I didn't even think about that. Hinge and the piston. So I can always bring this down, and then put my pistons here, going down, and go into the rest of it. So we have one that is maximum distance at 0.4, so we can always increase that out to that way. And of course, our wheels, we can add the wheels. Perfect. And there you go. That's all I needed to do. So with this one, I'll just bring it back to 0.4 as I had it before, so it doesn't go too high up. So boom, there we go. We can extend it just a tad, and we can unlock it. Ooh. Don't know what happened there. Okay, you can unlock it, bring it up, and then get the extension back up this way. Right, so again, looks like a kind of like a bee stinger in some ways, or something else. I don't know, up to how you may want to look at it, or judge what that looks like. But I think what we can add in these half blocks, I think, is some kind of angle block just for fun. I think it lives under these blocks here, which is this thing I was looking for. Oh no, yeah, this thing. So we can add these here. Actually, no, this is the slow one. This is the one I wanted. There we go. We can add it like that. I don't know why I would want to add that, but just for fun, I'm just gonna add it that way, and one on this side as well. And of course, we have our steel plates here. All right, so here we go, and here we go. We're gonna have to weld up the wheels and see how it performs. All right, so we got our 4 wheels. We have a bit of a longer wheel base. Interesting little design over there. Kind of, and of course we have a little stinger in the back to kind of get ourselves kind of parked in there. If we don't use the landing gear, actually, even without it, it seems to be balancing a lot better, which I technically don't even need it anymore. So I can get rid of that odd stinger if I wanted to, because this is looking okay. Okay, so except for this, which is not terrible. It teeters a little bit. If I want to do it slowly, that's not too bad. Yeah, that's not too bad at all. It's actually doing pretty well because of the wheels in the back. The front, not so much, because it looks like it's about to tip over just a tad. If I went to do that, actually, no, it's not bad. Huh. I don't think I tested that on the pistons. It just looks so weird and odd to have that there, so I'd rather remove it, if anything. It performs very, very similarly to having it locked or not locked, so that's a bit of a waste. And I think it's the hinge that's the problem, because it's not shared inertia. And if I did share inertia, it probably would perform a little bit better. There we go. So that's on. And still not doing too well, but of course we found out that if you hinge lock it, it's a little bit better. Yep, there you go. So it once you hinge lock and share inertia, perfect. It doesn't sway whatsoever, which is good. But like I was saying before, honestly, if we just took it off outright, so we brought it back up, we probably should have just left it like that. But anyways, when we brought it back up, we sway a little bit, but it's not swaying to the point where I'm going to tip it all the way down. So, I mean, we can just leave it like this and gently nudge it up and down without having some kind of lock, and we could just park instead. So, that might be the idea here, because I can't with this thing because it looks too odd. So we're just gonna get rid of this. I do like the design of this here, but it's not the safest thing because it can break fairly easily. But let me grind this all down, and let's just forgo any kind of locking system. I don't know, it's design ways, it just doesn't look right. It just looks terrible, so why even bother putting this here? I mean, what we can do is go a little traditional in terms of a locking system and put it as an angle on the side and a piston going forward to lock in 4 points. But I think I don't need to lock this thing whatsoever, so I'm just gonna keep it as that, because it just looks better that way, and it actually performs pretty well this way too. Why is this spinning? I don't know. That is a bit weird, and I'm gonna have to wait for its kind of full rotation before I can get to it. It shouldn't be spinning like that, to be honest, but for some reason it is. That's a bit of a flaw in the system. So if that does happen again, it will be quite hard to get into that industrial cockpit. Alright, so it may have been because the way I put up the welding or the welder that it did that. So I think next time if I'm finished with this, I should just lock it in like that, so then we don't experience that again. But as I said before, it sways a bit, but if I go all the way, at least this time we're not going to look like we're going to fall backwards. So this is not too bad at all. And for whatever reasons, I feel like I want to add a little more to this. So I want to add one there, one there, just to see what that looks like. And I don't know if I should, but maybe connect the rest of it over. I mean, it looks okay. No, it's not the greatest. I'll just get rid of that. Okay, so we'll leave it as this. It looks decent. Yeah, it looks decent. We have a missing space in the middle, which we can always add stuff here if we wanted to. So if we want to do maybe a slope block, we'll probably do something like that, which may look a little odd too, but we'll just leave it as that. And I think we kind of accomplished having a better crane system. So now it is a little bit easier to kind of drive around a bit. So I can easily drive all the way up to my floor, hit the park, swap over. I want to lock in a little bit. I'll just lock in. I think I need some. No, well, most of my stuff is already in the small car container. Okay, that's fine. So now we can unlock that. We can bring this guy. Ooh, don't want to bring it down too fast. Let's just bring it down. Okay, that's the end of it. See, it's not terrible. I don't necessarily need to lock it in. Now I can just bring this arm down and easily grab and weld the rest of this guy here. And I think, yep, I was afraid of that. I was trying to avoid the battery. But look, that is not too bad whatsoever. And I can add, if I need to, kind of a camera right onto the arm. And I feel like I want to do that so I can see a little bit better. How I'm going to do that is another question. So maybe I do the slope block tip. There, it actually worked out. Slope block tip with the camera. It's sticking out a little bit. That's not too bad. And it shouldn't get in the way of any of the grinding, hopefully. But this way, it makes it a little bit easier to see if I really need to see. So if I grab my camera, do view. Perfect. So I can see pretty much exactly what I kind of wanted to see. I mean, the only problem I would say is that the welder piece is just above it. And I should have added some of the mods that I could have used, because that way I could tilt it up a little bit more and see the camera itself. So this is not terrible, but I can see okay. I wish I could see the tip of the welder. That way I can really know exactly what I'm looking at, but that's okay, not the most terrible thing in the world. But here, if we want to weld the rest of this here, I think, ooh, that was a little scary. But yeah, it's a little bit dizzying to look at this, but I know for sure we can kind of see it so that we don't break the welder. But I mean, it's hard to see if you can't kind of pinpoint where the welding tips are. Otherwise, I'm gonna end up breaking this eventually. So it's slightly above what I'm looking at, so that's the problem. But honestly, I think that might be a later fix, if anything. And I think the biggest issue I'm gonna run into now is that I'm running out of steel plates, and I'm producing a whole bunch of them. I think like 10,000 of them, but I don't know if I have enough mats to actually produce all that. But I'm gonna try it out and see anyways. But I think in terms of this crane system, or this welding arm, I think we did a decent fix to it. Not too bad. It looks like it drives so much better. Oh, I forget that controls that. Oh, why did it fall off? That's interesting. Usually don't fall off like that. But anyways, I forgot to lock this, right? I'll lock it over there, so that way I can drive it easier without having too big of an issue. we can just, oh, then we shouldn't do it that way actually. We should lock it there. And the only reason why I say that is because once I hit the parking button, it locks and unlocks. So right now if I hit park, it'll unlock the connector, but the wheels will lock in place for parking. And I hit park again to have it lock in. So I left the back wheels to turn because I think I need an extra turning radius or wheels. But now let's kind of think of the floor plans for this. So this is one hell of a view. So I do want to keep this as a like, ooh, that was unfortunate. I want to keep this like a little backyard porch area or deck, as I mentioned last time, or try to mention last time, and that would probably be perfect. So maybe this will be kind of the living area or living space area. I know that's two different colors, but whatever. So that's gonna be the living room space area or so, and it's gonna have like a big window. We'll put a little door right around here so we can go out to the deck and everything like that. Next best thing to do is kind of add like a kitchen space here, and then we gotta think about where to put the stairs. So of course what we're gonna plan to do, let's just actually change all this out so we don't keep building with yellow walls and floors. What we're thinking is maybe, well, these blocks are too tall, so I want to have windows as soon as possible, or within the height of it. So if I add something like the wall here, it might not look the best, so you probably need to add the window with it. So actually it's kind of awkward because you know how like kitchen counters are, you have a little bit counter and then you have a window, but in this case you're just gonna have like a window kind of like right away, connecting from the floor and up, which is not the worst thing in the world, but it just kind of looks a little bit odd, right? So for an example, if I wanted to do a nice little kitchen area, we're gonna have to put like a window here in that sense, and then probably another window this way. And then when we put down, let's just say, where are these things here? This thing here, we're gonna have to put it right there like that. And I mean, it's not bad because the counter does act as a bit of a wall, but you'll see it on the other side. So the only problem is I need some interior plates. Interior design, interior plates, makes a lot of sense to me. So we can put our little kitchen thing here and weld that up, and also weld to the window. I don't know if I have enough bulletproof glass. I want to say yes, but it's likely not. It's actually a decent amount. Yeah, I had enough. So I can kind of weld this up and see what that's going to look like. Here we go. So it's a clear thing here. This is pretty much the kitchen-ish area. So he has a nice clear view from here. But the odd part is when you're looking from here, you can see the whole entire thing. So that's kind of what I didn't want. I was hoping to have a decent wall up where half of it was a window and half of it is not. I don't think a block like that exists. I mean, we can use these windows, which wouldn't be too bad. Or maybe these viewpoints, that is fairly new with the Wasteland DLC. So let's see what this looks like. So alright, so this might be what I'm looking for, where it's showing, you know, a bit of the bottom piece and then the top is a window. The biggest problem is that these don't look like it's continuous. So let's just put some down just to see what it looks like. So we have a viewport 2 and a viewport 1. And what that looks like, I mean, the only difference is that it's showing the innards of it versus this one is not showing the innards of it. Okay, so that's two different ones. So it's not a continuous window, which is one of the biggest problems I think I would have with this. But if we did use the other one, which is the window wall, it's not tall enough for what I want it to be, and we have to kind of put it this way instead. It wouldn't be terrible, to be honest, to have this here. It's off just a little bit, and that one is nice because you can continuously go through. It's not the biggest window in the world, but I think that would look a little bit better than these viewports. But you know what? Since it's a bit of a kitchen-ish area, I mean, I do want to have like a nice big window, but I don't think it's necessary to have this wide of a window. So let's see if we can just do, let's just do this one, the viewport 1, and weld it up and see what that looks like from that side. So this looks good. That's not too bad. It's clear on this side and not clear on this side. So that's kind of the perfect way to do it. So actually that actually doesn't look terrible. And I actually haven't really looked at the kitchen too much. And this looks pretty interesting. So I'm not sure what this is exactly, but there's a sink here, a stovetop, oven, some drawer space, and I think this is trash. Nice that it has both recycle and regular. And that might be a trash compactor, because I saw in the back look like some kind of tanks. And there looks like a bit of a microwave here, which is pretty interesting of a kitchen. And there you go. We have our sink, oven, and everything like that. But of course, you have that little viewport here, which is perfect. We definitely don't need another window here, so we can kind of close this up with, let's just say, yeah, we can do half block, so we can match it all up. So it would be like, kind of like that. Right? And then here we can definitely put more stuff. So, and we'll design the outside a little bit more later, but I think for the most part this is going to be a full blocks or half block kind of build on the outside. I generally would probably use full blocks where I can and half blocks where I need to, but in this case I think I'm going to use some windows, so I'm just doing half blocks. It just looks a little better. And then with these little corners, I can always throw in something like this here, the half slope kind of blocks. So it can kind of be like that to round out the corners to make it look decent. And of course the outside is going to be an outside layer as well, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. I don't know if I want to stick with this concrete because it looks like this concrete is breaking and it's going to look like this on the inside as well as the outside. So that's the interesting part now. So do I want to make it look like that, or should I make the walls thicker? So at least I have an inner color and an outer color. So that's an interesting question to have. I mean, I'll think about that, or just leave a comment down below. Should I have a double wall, so that way I have one outside wall that is pretty much, I guess you can say, concrete wall if I plan to use the concrete wall look, and then of course the inside could be a different color. So like, say if I want to do for an example, if I want to do like a wooden look, it'll look something like that, so it doesn't look too crazy on the inside as much as the outside. So kind of look like that outside, and then we have this inside. That might be the way to do it. It does leave a bit of a gap, which we don't necessarily need, but of course we can always throw in a solid block here. But the other issue is this, the windows. So if I have the windows here looking like this, we kind of need it to be outside, so that's where it becomes an issue. So inside right now it looks like the wood, and then the outside I want to put concrete. So the window, unless we double layer it, which is a bit of a pain, which kind of wouldn't make too much sense to do that. So I don't know. I like it looking like this, but the outside, it needs to be consistent. Unless I build everything out this wood look or a different color. I mean, I kind of prefer to have an outside layer so it looks a little different, but I don't know. I mean, there's kind of a way to do it, and that's basically, in some ways, we can do the half block like sticking this way, and then the other half block sticking that way. That way, you can have two different colors, one for inside wall and one for the outside wall. So it would look kind of like, let's just use a different thing here. So it looks kind of like that. So at least we have a wood inside and I don't know, carbon fiber, if you have ever seen a carbon fiber house, a carbon fiber outside look. So it would be, so that way you have, you know, 2 different design colors or 2 different skins for the walls. That's one way of doing it, but again, it's the windows that becomes the issue. Unless I keep the window kind of looking like the outside. So if that was the case, to have carbon fiber, we just leave that as carbon fiber, and we can just, you know, kind of build it out this way, like so. And then if we wanted to have the half block to have the wooden look on the wall section, we'll just put that there. So it'll be kind of like this. The only problem with that is that it just too thick in some ways. So if it had like this, see here, it's too thick where this becomes a bit of a dip, and I just kind of want it to be smooth and outside of it. But I mean, what else can you do with it, you know? So even if I want to put like a chair here, that's probably an issue. So maybe it's all about being versatile in the design. So and it looks like I need to flip these over because I don't want them to be vertical. I want them to be kind of horizontal here. But this kind of looks like a decent design. That wouldn't be too bad. But again, the other issue is placing more items. So if I wanted to do, say, more decorative blocks, say maybe what I'm looking for here, maybe like a vending machine or something like that as a fridge, right? So I can easily put it this way, but this one I can't complain too much because it's gonna cover pretty much the whole entire thing, right? So that's okay. And you can't even see the wall anyway, so that might be not a bad idea. But I think if you're going back to the whole 2-wall design system, this works out in a weird way because that's the outer wall. Let's just get rid of this. But this is going to be the outer wall. So let's get back to carbon fiber here, right? That covers that, so it's not terrible. You still have this little bit of a weirdness here. And closing out corners, that is a bit of an issue, I think, right? So if we use half blocks, we're gonna have a wooden look inside. Well, it's gonna be like this actually. So this is the carbon fiber outside, this is carbon fiber outside, and we don't have a way to do a different color inside. Well, no, that's wrong, because I can easily just throw in a whole big wooden piece here, like so, and call it a corner. There you go. So that kind of solves the issue. So yeah, I think that would kind of work, right? I mean, here we go. So we have a double wall action kind of situation, and it wouldn't look too bad. The window, it probably needs some work, but that's probably the way I'm going to do it. But here in terms of the corner, now I kind of feel like I need to put like a whole bunch of these blocks here, like across a whole block, and not use half blocks. And then when I put windows, that's just gonna be weird again. Or maybe I could do double pane windows. I think I could do double pane windows. That's a better bet. Meaning one in the inside and one in the outside, so then it looks decent. Yeah, I think we'll do that. We'll just keep this big block. So okay, so just talking it through kind of works out. But so for some certain designs, we got to keep it half block instead. To combat the kind of odd section, we could probably do something like that if we had to. So it'll look something like this eventually, where it kind of curves a little bit, so it wouldn't look too terrible. I mean, a bit of an illusion here, so it doesn't look like it's too off. And then of course we could do like dining areas and everything, because we don't have cabinets here. I mean, we don't necessarily put cabinets, but we could put freight boxes. We can do maybe some planters or something similar to that. Or where is it? Frostbite gives us, no, not that. I think Wasteland gives us a decent amount of stuff. we can do these store shelves, but of course they look like tools and everything like that, so that's pointless. I think it's sparks of the future that we really care about, and that's going to be things like a bar and counter space, things like that. So we can put them on the side or in the outside area. So let's just say, for an example, I think we just grab these two. I do like these two the most in terms of these, because these are cool. We can do kind of like a bit of a corner thing here, where we could put the bar here and there. So we have one corner bar and another counter space. So that way it would look pretty decent. It wouldn't be too bad. It's a little cramped here, which I could extend it out a little bit more if I wanted to. But right here you have like a fridge, kitchen. You have your counter space, your Clan Cola and coffee, Cosmic Coffee. You have another sink here, a nice little fridge and everything like that. And of course on this side, looks like you have sneeze proof and cough proof windows, which is great for times like today. But what we want to do is probably add some seated space outside, kind of like it's not looking like, you know, a traditional counter space and table and such, but it's getting there. It's a little bit odd, but because you have like these desks, they can only have like one seat on here, which is fine. It's not like I'm gonna have many guests on this world anyway, so we can add, I think at most 3, right? Yeah, 3 chairs. That's the most we can add here. So this looks like, I mean, I would love to have a nice little kitchen and a bar system set up like this. It wouldn't look too bad. It looks more like a store though right now than it actually does a home or kitchen. But we have a decent kitchen setup here, so that's not too bad. So at most I have 3 people here eating. Actually, you know what? Can I add one more here? I can add one more here. Why not? I could definitely add one more right here, right? Yeah, I could. So we can just grab the parts for that and then add it right here. It's a little close for comfort. So, but you do have an extra space. So now I can have 3 friends join me on my little kitchen-ish bar area. Definitely need a rug or carpet or something for the floor instead of whatever this is. So it's not very inviting right now, but eventually we'll have that set up. So this is pretty much the kitchen-ish area that I was thinking about. I mean, another way to doing it is, instead of having it like this, looks kind of like a store or a restaurant or something like that, we can use the counter tables outside. So we can put it out here and then kind of link them together, so we can have a nice little big dining table, which is okay, which is fine, because this can be like a stoolish area. Here we can do the dining table, so we gotta make sure we give enough space. So it'll be kind of like this in a way, and we can use the chairs too, so that we have those set up. Just as an example, I'll just leave these tables here. I might move them, I might not move them, I'm not sure, but we can just use these desks as like the dining table, which will be kind of perfect in some ways. There we go. So of course we can use the chairs in the corners again to kind of make this dining table out here. And then that would be kind of the kitchen / dining area all fixed up. And of course I would like an open concept, so we're gonna include the living area here with a nice big window here to view everything. And it's probably gonna be a window from bottom up, so you can see everything. So a nice big clear window. I think that's going to be the way I would do it, and I'm gonna have to resolve that with either half blocks or full blocks. Let's just see how that goes. Maybe I can curve it in before the window kind of thing there. A nice big window. I think, what is the biggest window we can have here? It's probably a 3x3, I think, right? So yeah, 3x3. That's a nice big window where we can see right there on the outside. Then we can have a giant TV somewhere as well. And Do I need a giant TV? Probably not. I don't know. If I have a nice view here, why would I need a giant TV? But if we do want a TV, the best one I'm gonna go with is probably a 5x3 LCD panel. Not a 5x5 because 5x5 is more of a square. So I would go with a 5x3, which will be more widescreen, which is more traditional nowadays. So that would be the next step. I think we're gonna have to build the living room, a bathroom, which should be small and easy to do. We need to find a stairwell to lead to the basement here, and also a stairwell to lead to the second floor, which should be the bedroom area, and maybe another bathroom. So lots to think about. I'm just gonna have to process through it and see what's the best way to do this, especially with the windows. I mean, I do like it this way because it looks more traditional space engineering or space engineer-ish. We can turn it into a home that looks a little bit like a space station or something like that, which wouldn't look terrible. So yeah, I think I'm gonna spend some time here, kind of work it through, and I'll make sure it turns into a time lapse and trying to build it inside out so it looks better that way. But right now, I think I'm gonna call it from there because it's nighttime. Spend quite some time working on that crane system or the welding system, and I really need to spend some time to think it through and see what's the best way of making maybe this double wall kind of section here. So with that said, thank you guys very much for watching. Of course, hit that thumbs up, like the video, consider subscribing to the channel, of course. Feel free to leave us some comments. And as always, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.